and the time that I got to spend with her backstage. And a lot of my questions have to do with linking your advice with what, with what a lot of people here may be going through. You have at 33 Olympic medals, gold medals. You have a World Cup championship. But in your sights, you want 2 more Olympic medals and another World Cup championship. A lot of people out here may be good at what they do, and they keep saying, how do I make a challenge? How do I keep raising the bar in what I'm doing? What's your advice so that you get just as excited for what's ahead as what you've already accomplished?
Well, I think it's all about being uncomfortable to be comfortable. You have to continue to break barriers. You have to continue to want to succeed. And so for me, everything that I've accomplished in my career and throughout my career has been great. But at the same time, I want more. And every time I come back from a major event, back in training, I'm back in the field, and I feel terrible again. And that's what it's all about. Just wanting to keep getting better and keep improving. I've got hopefully 5 more years left to play, and I want to make the most of it.
Clarissa has a couple of questions.
Yes. So, Carli, some facts that we all know about you are you're U.S. Women's World Cup soccer champion, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and you're responsible for scoring the leading goals in all 3 games. How do you do it?
Well, it's all about preparation and mental preparation, physical preparation. It's really training when no one is watching. All the blood, sweat, and tears, days where I wake up really early to go train, and maybe my legs are sore and I don't feel like going out there to train. But I know that if I go out there and I get through it, it's going to help in a World Cup final. And that's what it's really all about. It's just about overcoming so many obstacles, being able to persevere and being able to turn a negative situation into a positive situation, and inevitably helps me in those big moments.
So when you talk to young people like myself, you talk about the importance of believing in yourself and having a dream. You also talk about how hard work is the key.
Well, I think, it's really easy to just say, go out and work hard. There's different definitions of working hard. There's pushing yourself. And for me, what I can tell you and some of the other people out there is you have to spend every single day doing something that's going to make you better. There's not many people that are going to make it to the top, make it to the professional level. But if you train yourself and you train your mind to work hard each and every day, you're going to be successful. And I think that's something that you can focus on. It's just going out there and putting in the work each and every day, and knowing that you may not reach the top, but you're going to create good life skills later on.
Your playing philosophy, when you talk about it from the very beginning, you're just focused on what you call smash the ball. You're after the ball. And then you got a new trainer and he said, that's great, but that's not enough. You're working on potential, not possibility of what you could be doing. Was that surprising to you, and how hard was it to take in that criticism and use it constructively versus saying, listen, I'm doing pretty well out here with this?
Well, when I was a youngster, I was so passionate about soccer. I would literally take my balls, I would go to the field, and I would just shoot. And I wasn't doing necessarily the right technique, but it was about spending time putting in the hours, creating that foundation. And then when I met my trainer in 2003, he identified, all the things that I needed to work on. My game sense and my technical ability was pretty good, but he said to me, look, you're physically unfit, mentally you're not strong enough, and your character needs some work.
What does that mean?
And I'm like, okay. And most of us here in the crowd, it's very hard to swallow that we're all not perfect and we all need to work on things, but it's very hard to hear what your weaknesses are. And then it's very hard to turn those weaknesses into strengths. And so for me, I just needed somebody to guide me in the right direction. I was willing to sacrifice, I was willing to put in the work, and I was willing to tackle all of my weaknesses. And now when people talk about me, they say what great character I have, they say that I'm a machine, and they say that I'm one of the mentally strongest people out there. So little do people know, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I was really bad at those things. having the courage and the confidence to not only work on those, but make those the best you can be.
What would you say is the lesson for women out here who might be looking for that mentor or coach? Because I was so specific to this person. If somebody else had done it, it might not have gone so well. There was something in the chemistry between you and James. How do they go about finding the right person? I know I stick with that one, get away from that one.
Well, I think you'll know when you find the right person. James and I have a tremendous amount of respect for one another, and I think that's what makes it work. We respect each other. We've never gotten into an argument. Whatever he tells me to do, I do it. Maybe I think he's a little crazy at times, but it ends up paying off. But we have a mutual respect for one another, and he's able to sometimes talk me off the ledge when I'm thinking I'm playing horribly. He's able to kind of get me motivated. He's able to continue to help me break barriers. That's really what it's all about. And for me, in my opinion, I think having a go-to person is really what everybody needs. You know, you need that one person who can just help be a positive influence on your life, who can help guide you through difficult situations. And that's what we have. You know, we've got the best teacher-student duo, in my opinion, in the world.
Larissa?
Yes. So let's talk about something we all here care about, which is gender equality, of course. Last year's the men's World Cup Soccer Championship, they took home $30 million. When the women took home $2. What value of women's sports does that seem to you?
Yeah, that number, that gap is way off, in my opinion. Hopefully by 4 years later, when we go play in France, if we win another World Cup, it'll be up to me. But, you know, I think, you know, being out on the stage right now and seeing all the women out in the crowds, and just doing so many experiences after the World Cup, you know, there's so many powerful women out there, and you're really seeing such a big movement, whether it be in politics or news, sports. We're really working hard, and I know that eventually that pay gap will increase. We've got to get on FIFA. That's a big task, but we're really doing some good things out there, and I know for us, you know, we transcended the sport, we captivated the nation, which was fabulous, and we just got to keep fighting. That's what it's all about.
For a lot of women out here, it's a constant question, especially when things are tough, to know whether or not to keep going or whether or not to quit. You've had those moments and you're thinking, how did you evaluate it? And I'm told that it's Jordan and Ali. There's something that they've said that sticks with you as you evaluate it. What is that?
Well, in about 2002, I hit a brick wall, and growing up, I was the best player on every single team. I didn't really have to work hard. My talent just kind of carried me along. I coasted along. And then I suddenly got on the under-21 national team, and I was no longer the best player on the team.
I wish I would have had my phone with me because I wanted to
Involved with the team, and everybody was the best player on the team. I suddenly found myself at the bottom of the pack, and I didn't persevere as well as I do now through those difficult times. Back then, I just thought it was easy to just hang up the cleats. I couldn't get through it. Didn't have anybody that was helping guide me. And then after that, that's when I met James, and he asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I want to make the full women's national team. And he basically explained to me that this has got to become my number one thing in life. Ahead of friends, ahead of family, really ahead of everything. Didn't want me to have a boyfriend, didn't want me to go out. I was like, geez, basically can't have a life. But that's what it takes, all those sacrifices. And he sat down with me and he said, look, Muhammad Ali, Michael Jordan, Bruce Lee, all of these amazing, great athletes spend time training around the clock. Christmas morning, Thanksgiving morning, Easter, every single holiday. If you train on holidays, most likely nobody else is. And you know, he told me stories about Michael Jordan going out and taking tons of shots, and Muhammad Ali training all the time around the clock, and that fascinated me. And I'm just trying to replicate that now, just putting in the work.
How do you, there are moments when you're in a slump. Some athletes, we take things from sports, I've heard a baseball player will grab some grass, grab it, and throw it in the wind. That stuff is over, I'm turning it around. So do you have a ritual when something's in a slump? And also do you have a ritual to make sure you truly celebrate? Often women are so focused, we don't take the time to really feel the moment. What are the two ends of that for you?
Well, as much as I would love to play perfect all the time, it's definitely not the case. And I'll use this past World Cup as an example. I went into it being really, really confident. First game came and it didn't go as I believed in my mind it would go. You have this vision, you have this idea that a certain situation is going to go a certain way. When it doesn't, you think you failed and you think, what's going on here? So I started to lose confidence, and after the third game of the World Cup, I was probably at an all-time lowest confidence ever in my career. At 33, over 200 caps with the national team, and I'm still feeling that way. Obviously, I spent a lot of time talking with James, and I learned a lot throughout that situation. You have to just let the past go. You can't change the past, but you can make the future better, and you can live in the present and be present and be better. So for me, I learned how to just kind of let it roll off your shoulder. I don't really have a ritual or anything. It's more so in my mind. It's more just positive thinking. And then eventually, my confidence just continued to grow throughout the rest of the tournament. But I think it's hard. When you're in that moment, it's really, really hard. But you just have to think as positively as you can.
Well, there's a big movement called Play Like a Girl, but you said something interesting. I called it Argue Like a Man. When you're playing and it gets rough, somebody stepped on your head, it's all good. Just gonna keep going. Talk about that, because we often do get dramatic in the conflict.
Yes, women do get a bit dramatic. I think that, I have this tough personality, probably from being from New Jersey and Philly. And so the way I play, I play bigger than I look. I love to tackle people. I love to, not dirty, but I like to make sure they know not to come near me again after a tackle. And
That's what I'd like to do.
I think that's what it's all about. And yes, I had my head stomped on in the 2012 Olympics, which, very, very lucky that cleat didn't go in my eye because that could have been really dangerous. But I had some cleat marks in the side of my head. And, it's like, whatever. Just let it roll off my shoulder and just get ready for the next battle. But you can't spend too much time worrying about that type of stuff. For me, it's worthless focus, and it can kind of consume your brain with negative things. So for me, it's like, all right, it's over and done with, and get ready for the next battle.
You're 33, you say you want to play for 5 more years. We all deal with age. A lot of people out here remember their youthful enthusiasm, remember the youthful way of going at things. Life changes, and you got to take it into account. What's your advice?
That's the truth.
Yes, obviously, you can't, as a soccer player, you can't play till you're 45, 50 years old. I know that, in 2 to 3 years, I may not be the quickest, or things may change. Obviously, your body changes with age. I'm very fit, I'm very healthy, I take care of myself on and off the field. But I think as you get older, you get smarter too. So, probably do less running, because I'll know the positions better, and I'll make sure I'm making smarter runs and doing things a bit smarter. But I know that I can still put in 5 years of quality effort, and I'm ready for it. There's probably going to be people out there that say, why is she going to play till she's 38? She's going to slow down. She's not going to be good. But it's honestly nothing I haven't heard in my career. There's been lots of people who have tried to bring me down, and I've just continued to prove them wrong. And for the next 5 years, we'll keep proving them wrong.
We're down to the last 15 seconds. When you're done, you're not going to see the end of Carli Lloyd. You want to be an FBI agent.
The FBI is very interesting to me, solving crimes. I'm a big fan of Homeland, so all that type of CIA and FBI things are very, very interesting to me. So who knows what will come out. is where.
All right, if you've learned nothing else out of the day, in 10 years, if Carli Lloyd shows up and she's got a gun on her hip, just stop. She can chase you down, and she might hurt you. So we'll see what the future has in store. It's been wonderful to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it.